So if you bring up PT in my presence, we're gonna talk. More to the point, I'm gonna ramble and dominate the conversation, and you're gonna think I'm a dick. But in my defense, I have a lot to talk about. Its amazing lighting effects, that its intuitive gameplay and lack of a tutorial in a contextual menued world is the kind of refreshing change that makes me want to keep playing games, that it represented a familiar but well-executed form of intellectual horror, or I could speak of its essence, its simple and terrifying core that leaves an ichor of fear on your very soul for hours after you finish descending into its hell. Nope, no, that's not ichor, that's poo. That is poo. In my pants. And I can't clean it up either, because there's a dark hole between me and the bathroom, and fuck a bunch of that noise. We could talk about any of that, but we're going to talk about advertising. Advertising in general, especially as it applies to video games, is changing, and PT is the herald of that change. Now why such grandiose verbiage when speaking of an over-the-top Silent Hill promo? Well, this is the culmination of a series of thoughts that began rattling around my head during this year's E3, almost like they were being stir-fried. Stir-fried thoughts! It's the name of the show! Boom! Title card. Watching game companies try to pull these flashy, tacky, expensive, disingenuous fucking press conferences over themselves every year like a fat guy trying to grease himself into a pair of skinny jeans is starting to get embarrassing. Because they're hip! And they're not concurrent with the feeling or the ethos or the reality of the rest of the industry, especially considering how profoundly uncomfortable all these game designers seem as they're trotted in front of bright lights in a dark room that seems to be filled with the larva from pitch black. And there's a good reason for them to be nervous. That's a big-ass room full of industry cynics. Paid cynics, waiting to hate, waiting to cringe, waiting to blog about how ridiculous a spectacle they're beholding, or to make a YouTube video about it. I don't know, those guys are dicks. But the issue isn't with these game designers, it's with an advertising and PR machine that seems completely detached from not just the average person it's trying to sell and relate to, but from those that make the cogs of their industry turn. And a quick aside, I'm not trying to spin that old yarn of gamers and game designers being antisocial, I'm just saying the whole affair is fucking weird. Rockstar lights, fucking into music so people can walk on stage in ill-fitted suits pouring sweat and talk about developing video games. That much fanfare is usually followed by a howling guy in leather pants and a bunch of explosions. Or a guy with a weird haircut convulsing behind a laptop. That's what the kids do these days, right? I don't fucking know. Get turned up to death! Moving on. In a world where subtle social media driven advertising is far more effective than the seizure-inducing in-your-face TV spots of 10 years ago, these giant flashy presentations ostensibly designed for games press and industry workers seem not only incongruous but archaic and detached. Gamers are and always have been on the forefront of technology, and on an increasingly social internet, that technological awareness is part and parcel with an increasing intolerance for bullshit and disingenuous buzzword-filled advertising. Advertising that will never get the foothold it could in, say, print or TV in the 90s. You are not ready! And now we come to PT, a brilliant, modern, fun, fuck it, likable promotion for the next Silent Hill title. A title that, while nothing like PT, they say as much at the end of the demo, will be amazing if held to a similar standard of quality. It was free, it was mysterious, it was graphically spectacular, and it was fucking super scary. While it would have been nice if an almost equally bloated Gamescom Sony press conference hadn't been involved, PT is a brilliant piece of promotional material that feels like a gift or a freebie more than a commercial. People all over the internet not only made what was essentially an advertisement trend, but pursued it. Think about that for a second. Denizens of the internet actively pursuing an advertisement in a world where I've never seen a sponsored Reddit post go over like 200 upvotes. And even knowing that, I liked the Playable teaser so much that I'm not even a little bothered. You have my attention, Konami. I will buy Silent Hills. Mission accomplished. And I don't feel like I've been face-fucked like I do after I experience most of the advertising the game industry has to offer, which always comes off more like a 90s Go-Go commercial for a hyperactive 9-year-old than anything tailored for gaming's, actual audience. So without condescending to fans, insulting anyone, or generally just being like a cringy parent desperately attempting to be hip, Konami, Kojima, Del Toro, and a boondock saint have promoted a new video game by exchanging fun for your attention, by appreciating the fan, by valuing the fan, valuing us, by not treating us like fucking idiots. Good show. Oh god, what the fuck?